Hi, my name is Lisa Amos. We will be reviewing the Space Commercialization International Moon Village. For over 60 years, there have been thoughts, studies, and proposals performed to colonize the moon. How is romanticizing about traveling to the moon becoming real? How long will it take to start the colonization? Can an economic system be created? Yes, is the answer to all those questions. Dreams of humans traveling to the moon can happen as soon as 10 years. There are logical steps that will need to occur, though. The lunar land will need to be developed, just as it would on Earth. Humans will need to plan for mining on the moon for minerals to survive. And the land will also need to have habitats to survive in. During these three basic steps, we will create an economic system naturally on the moon. Creating the International Moon Village would rely on the same arrangement in the International Space Station, utilizing the partnerships between international governments, including China, and commercial companies. So before we go forward, let's address the United Nations treaties. The United Nations Treaty has 5 components to be considered. The Outer Space Treaty and the Moon Treaty have been updated and signed by all participating states. The summary of the updates include allowing for altering the lunar environment, ownership of the lunar property, allows for national appropriations, and it's all approved by the Secretary General of the United Nations. The participating states in the revised treaties include, but are not limited to, China, Russia, the US, Japan, Canada, and all the countries that are included in the European Space Agency. States and commercial companies can submit proposals to have claims on the moon resources, and the Secretary General of the United Nations will provide all of the approvals. Building a moon village has 3 parts: the lunar land development, mining the moon, and creating a village architecture. Let's review those. Lunar land development is building a moon village that is not trivial. The first step in any development is to develop the land. Based on studies on the moon, the most popular location to colonize is the South Pole. This would provide the best natural protection from the hazards of the moon that it undergoes. The South Pole is permanently shadowed, which provides the most stable temperatures. There are 5 phases that will support the land development. Let's review those. The zoning phase, which consists of understanding the land's characteristics and usability. Basically, the master engineer will study and document the land characteristics. During this, he will define the infrastructure that can be built and universal usage of any international state. The infrastructure will include the mining areas of water, natural minerals for science and energy, launch pads, medical, housing, agriculture, recreation activities, and to also have growth for tourism. Then we move on to the acquisition and financing phases. This is where the commercial companies can invest in the Moon Village. Commercial companies will provide proposals to the Secretary General to develop the land of the moon that was zoned out. The states included in the treaty can submit proposals for the zoned areas, with the Secretary General having selected the best value proposal. The proposals will include the investment of the commercial contractors that are willing to contribute, and also how much the international states will also need to contribute. The selected contractors will own their project and agree to pay back the investment that the international states put in. Moving on to the construction phase, once the contractors are selected for their projects and their zoned area, they can start building. The first project will be to grade out the land like roads, do the foundations for the buildings, get the power supply up and running, create a launch pad, and also have the mining areas done. Once the initial grading is completed, construction can commence. In the marketing phase, the investors will need to have a marketing strategy to recover theirs and the state's investments. This plan will include multiple phases with the strategy. The phases range from initial, intermediate, and final development for completion to the tourism phase. Next, mining on the moon. For survivability of the moon and beyond, mining for water and other volatile resources such as oxygen, hydrogen, and other minerals are needed. Initial lunar crater observation and sensing satellite mission indicated with a 10-mile plume, these valuable resources are present in the South Pole. These valuable resources generate survivability and products and supplies and materials using the ISRU process. This process, you could actually use a crew or robotics for each of the missions, and it can be continued once we have a continued presence on the moon. The contractors performing the ISRU will be able to claim a percentage of the value of the resources. The remaining resources will be handed over to the Secretary General for the use of the Moon Village per the Outer Space Treaty. Creating a village architecture. There have been many studies and proposals on the architecture of the village. The Moon Village would be similar to the ISS. The village would rely on interagency partnerships and commercial contractors. The partners would leverage the resources collected for some of the mined materials to build the infrastructures. In addition, robotic worker technologies and 3D printing manufacturing would assist in creating the Moon Village. The initial architecture buildings would mostly be underground to protect the civilians against the harsh elements of the moon. The upper levels of the habitats would have windows to allow lighting and radiation protection. Energy is a crucial resource needed. Solar arrays could generate electricity to provide heat for processes such as the 3D printing. Energy can be used to splitting water into oxygen and hydrogen. The energy created can be used to light the underground and vegetation habitats. The economic system. The lunar economic system begins with the RFPs that are released to the international partner states. When contractors get an opportunity to invest in this long dream of colonizing on the moon, it will create a natural economic system. The system includes shelters, food agriculture, building construction, industrial mining, oxygen, water, energy, and extracurricular activities and tourism. The Secretary General will govern the prices to ensure gouging does not occur. With shelters, the initial housing development phase, the workers will have minimum to zero housing cost as they are at most risk of creating an infrastructure. However, as the housing and habitats mature, the cost increases as each development phase are completed. With food and agriculture, as with housing, there will be phases of plant growth. Initially, the cost will be as low as a greenhouse matures. As the crops become mature and are harvested, the investing contractors can then realize some of their profits. Industrial efforts are where the most investment can be made, and the most returns will occur outside of tourism. The contractors who mine have a stake in the minerals found, including the oxygen, water, and energy, not to mention the materials that can be used to build the infrastructures. This is an area where the Secretary General will have the most regulations. For extracurricular activities, during this time of people being on the moon, they're going to want to let off some steam. They either want to relax, exercise, socialize, maybe ride a rover, and explore the moon. With these activities becoming more mature, there will be a need to monitor the system, sales, and marketing of it. Ultimately, this begins with the culture of experiencing extracurricular activities that can generate income for a person, group of people, or companies. Then that leads us to tourism. This is the stage 8 of space tourism. The International Moon Village will be able to complete approximately 2028. With this completion of the village, tourism is on the horizon and it's an absolute dream, and an entire economic system will start to solidify. The activities will expand to more defined rover trails, spacewalks, gambling, clubs, hotels for the guest, and a gift store for souvenirs. Establishing this opportunity of tourism will create memories to bring dreams and realities for many people. This will also set a foundation for future out-of-space dreams and opportunities. In conclusion, when we develop the land, we will be able to do mining to create energy, water, and oxygen. By doing this, we can also build up our shelters, our food, agriculture buildings, and have a tourism compound. To get this going, we will have to have a request for proposals submitted and have the commercial industry bid on it, where they can make money and gain an environment where they can earn a profit. Not only this, creating this new economic system on the moon will provide other many benefits. These benefits could include having a colony on the moon that could support refueling and repairing spacecraft in the solar system. A colony on the moon can provide proven establishment which can be used as a model for other celestial bodies. The research on the effects of low gravity on a human body can be understood, and the impacts to humans being in space for a very long time. And also, new businesses have new opportunities to make a profit. These are exciting times for people on the Earth. Over 50 years ago, the first person walked on the moon. There is a plan to build a colony on the moon with many opportunities for all mankind. If you have a dream, it can come true if you believe.